Hello. It's been, the last one I did is, last video I did was April 13th. And today is June 1st. So I've missed 6 weeks. But this 6 weeks have been very busy. This is my first video in my new house. Background's a little different. I tried to put the pictures the same, but completely different environment. Real upgrade for me, and it's been a great move, but it was hard on this 71-year-old body. I did a lot. And professionals come in and move the big things, but all the clothes and the dishes and all the small things, I moved them 2 loads at a time in my little Honda Fit. Great, it fit in the Fit, great little car for this move. And fortunately, I had a 1 month window, pretty much a 1 month window to work, to move the things from the old to the new. So today is called, in honor of this transition, it's called New Beginnings. And really what I've found for myself these days is that every morning that I get up, it offers this same opportunity for a new beginning. It's all about perspective, isn't it, after all? How do you choose to look at things? And when all is said and done, it seems that this is I always say we have 2 choices. Essentially, we have 2 choices that are within our purview, within our abilities. And any other so-called choice flies in the face of what appears to be real. And we know appearances can be deceiving because under the veil of this apparently continuous, most times chaotic happenstance, occurrence of events in our life, underneath that, of course, is the real, the everlasting, the never subject to change, never changing, continual welling of the divine. The divine, the all-encompassing, be-all and end-all of all that we know, can know, and in the truest sense, may never fully know. It's this essence. So this change is about the 2 changes. One is about this new beginning, this new perspective. Every morning that we wake up offers us an opportunity to get closer, to lift the veil of non-reality, to get glimpses of what's real. But this is doable, to wake up each morning and greet the day with a loving heart and a willingness to accept what comes our way. I learned long ago, and I only speak to myself, of my experience. I don't presume to intrude on your free will. But come what will. I always put it in these terms. I don't approach life. I don't have goals. I don't put artificial constructs on the universe or myself. I let the universe come to me, because what I need from the universe, whether I know it or not, will come to me. Everything else is superfluous. It's, at 71, you know that your resources are finite. Youth gives us the illusion that it's infinite. Our energy is infinite. And as you age, you know all too well that it's finite. And you learn to, hopefully, you learn to discriminate, to choose how, when, and with whom you expend this precious resource of life-given energy. And I'm chuckling because what's been on my plate is exactly this. Appreciating and utilizing energy in the most appropriate and meaningful and useful ways. So here's that choice. Wake up in the morning and see the challenges that will surely come, the rewards that sometimes, if we're fortunate, trickle in. But the challenges, the greeting of the day, I greet it with love. I try to remember to smile. And even expressing this just makes me chuckle, because I know that most times my countenance, most times my face doesn't really reflect what's going on inside. And I see this as a work in progress. I would like the inside to show on the outside. I've asked two people closest to me, my brother and my wife, if that my face shows them that I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And this is so true. Inside, I'm so happy, happier again than, and with this happiness, I greet whatever comes into the world, whether it be unhappiness, whether it be consternation. But I ask them if my face reflects my internal condition of complete and total happiness, the greatest happiness I've felt in all my life. And my brother is perhaps more diplomatic than my wife. And I mean that in the kindest way, honey. He said, yeah, I think so. But he paused, and that pause was pregnant with meaning. And we both my brother and I, in this stage of our relationship, after being apart for 30 years and now neighbors in our twilight years, have been working on cutting each other a break, letting go of the baggage that we might hold on from a lifelong knowing of each other. Where my wife prides herself on her unique position to constructively criticize me where others don't dare to tread. And I think my countenance, my face, looks a little stern. And I always work on making the smile reach the eyes. See? My eyes close as I really smile. So she feels in a unique, and she is, in a unique position of all those that know me. And she said, not really. Even she couched it. No, I'm not showing. And this is the most important person in my life. By design, by will, by choice, is her. And if I'm not showing this happiness to her on the outside, who could be more important that I share it with? So that hits home. That hits home. Work in progress. There's always something to work on, to ruminate. My favorite replacement for ponder. Recently I saw a friend that I hadn't seen for a year and a half, or even though I've been kind of keeping low key, keep listening or being guided by my own counsel, not really not socializing at all. I guess hermit-like would be a better description, a more apt, a more honest. And he asked me what I've been doing. And I didn't know where to begin. I've been doing these videos. I've been introspective, doing internal work. And it's really funny, as I'm all too familiar with dysthymia. Dysthymia was diagnosed by a friendly psychiatrist in my early 30s as a low-grade depression of a long-lasting cycles where manic is up and down, sometimes within the same sentence. Dysthymia, as I understand it, the curves are flattened out and not as extreme. Not the highs are not as high, the lows are not as low. It kind of flows on a, and I suspect to one degree or another, that is where most of us fall, is maybe dysthymia. And the downs last for a couple of years and slowly progress to the ups, which last for a couple of years. And when I get caught, it's usually, interesting enough, the time I'm most aware of this low grade, this low level of depression, is as it's changing from up to down, or the other end from down to up. It matters not which way it's going. My experience of this, my more commitment, if you will, to experiencing this transition is indeed in the times of the transition. Where it's going, up or down, I don't even know most of the time. And I've honestly don't care, and I'm not really aware when I'm in the throes, is this a high or is this a low? I don't really, I don't really gauge it. It's the transition. So transition seems to be a key for me. Something that I should be aware of and pay attention. So a big obvious physical transaction, physical transition is more notable than perhaps some of the inner work that's going on. So, in the spirit of what I've been doing it's almost 2 years now. This last 2 years I have to check. It's probably closer to 1.5 years if all be said and done. But I do keep some cursory daily notes. Not really journaling, but some key experiences from that day. And I found them useful to go back when I need a reference, when I need a time frame. So I'm aware that I'm a couple days behind in my daily calendar of my little, I'll even show it to you, my little notes. It's kind of scribble, but that's me. And let's see how many days I'm exactly behind. Today is Saturday, and I notice I got nothing for Thursday or Friday. I better get busy. What was I doing yesterday? See, I remember Thursday because I went out. Anyway, I'm digressing. So this awareness of change. And I don't want to forget. So this choice of each day offering a new beginning, an opportunity for a new beginning, which by definition has come to include letting the past go, not paying any attention to what's coming. It's truly living in the moment, moment by moment. Again, it seems to be a choice. And whether or not I'm fooling myself that indeed it's really a choice, who cares? The fact is that I'm entertaining this as an opportunity. Okay? Good to breathe, Good to breathe brings comfort. Good to focus on the breath from time to time. So this is choice number 1. And this is on a more of a micro level. It ties itself into, through the mechanics of mindfulness, is this recognition of opportunities to begin again. And with this acceptance of an opportunity for a new beginning comes the dismissal of transgressions. Maybe yesterday I didn't do as well as I think I should have. And I just remember, I'll be a better man today than I was yesterday. And I'll be a better man tomorrow than I am today. See the hope? See the opportunity? It's just a choice. It's one that we can utilize. And choice number 2 in life. I expanded. Before I looked at life as one choice. But I've expanded recently as I've come to appreciate the opportunity that comes each morning as I awaken. I've learned to really appreciate this for the blessing, the miracle that it really is. And the overriding, the big one, the choice that I've verbalized more than once to those that would listen, is that to be who you are. And that just hits deep in the gut, to be who you are. Because ultimately, anything else is doomed, predestined. Predestined. Predestined, how's that? Tongue's a little thick today. Predestined, doomed to failure. Hoping that you could be somebody else. Well, hope is a pretty useless expenditure of limited resources. Hope. I try not to use this word, but sometimes my vocabulary fails me to come up with another one. I usually hope you are feeling well. I usually use it in the context of extending it to others. But I don't hope. There's not much hope for me. There's promise. There's opportunity. But hoping, it's like coulda, shoulda, woulda. I could have, I would have, I should have. I just eliminate all of this from my personal experience. So acceptance, let it be, as the Beatles said so beautifully. Acceptance of yourself as you find yourself. Acceptance of who, what, why, when, where you are as you. This kind of eliminates all that self-improvement, all that, because what I've found upon rumination, today's word, pondering, and I have to get back to depression because I left that hang. The purpose, the reason I mentioned it is still hanging, and I'll come back there. But let's come here. Let's be who we are. Anything else is doomed to failure, eventual failure. It may take a lifetime to realize that aspirations, desires, goals, effort put into changing yourself comes to naught. It's doomed for failure. What you can change within the litmus test of who you are is to change how you see it. let the judgment go. Judgment is a useless activity, basically something of the monkey mind. And I've talked about utilizing the monkey mind as a tool rather than an annoyance. If you start, for me, start not judging the inside, not judging who I am, acceptance of who I am, not judging helps to work on not judging the other, what you perceive to be the other. And of course, part of this not judgment has to do with the understanding that there's no difference. What's within is without. All beings are part of you, and you are part of all beings, all sentient life. There isn't separation. There isn't division. So, being judgmental was a karmic debt that they probably had well deserved, and it's been a lifelong struggle, if I'm honest, to not judge the outside, not judge the inside. Everything has to, my experience, everything had to come within. It seems selfish if you have a division, a separation of you and the other, but your only access to what we mistakenly see as the other is inward. You have to go inward in order to go outward. That's how it works. Come in, breathe out, expand out. So this acceptance, this giving up of all that self-improvement, which is an oxymoron. How can you improve self, which by definition is perfection? Meaningless expenditure of a precious resource, energy. And I think it's this lack of energy, this understanding the limits of energy that's available to us at any given time, is a gift of aging. It's a gift of experience. It's a gift of evaluation, rumination. To see the limits. The energy is, of course, unlimited. But what's limited is the energy available to each and every one of us. Otherwise, we would burn up. Just as a pain is a threshold to protect us from further harm, so too is the understanding of the limitations of available energy on a personal level. I need a nap every day. And something is amiss. And when I first came to Taiwan, everybody napped, and it's a habit I didn't have and didn't understand. But I've grown to time, like it always does, ultimately will teach you to value, to see, to understand the world in its truest, basic sense. See, I had to tell myself this time to smile. A lot of this introspection tends to make me a little somber. And it's not really, this is just my own unique way to ruminate, to ponder with a somberness that seems to come for me when facing things as I find them. So these two opportunities to greet the day, a new beginning, and the opportunity to start to understand, accept, and even ultimately rejoice in the concept, in the envelopment of who and what you are. I talked about dysthymia, depression a little bit. My friend asked me, what have you been doing this year and a half? And I said, I've been feeling a little low. I was in a down part of my mild dysthymia, and this turns to make me more reclusive. So I was only able to explain to him that I was a little bit down. But as soon as the words came out, it's really not what I meant. I've been a little bit introspective. What have you been doing? I've been pondering. This is what I really wanted to say. But as I'm not that close to this individual, I was worried about, it turns out, strangely enough, of being judged. Who ponders for a year and a half to the exclusion of essentially everything and everybody else? It's kind of a self-absorption, isn't it? And again, it can be looked at by those with lesser understanding as selfishness. Innerdirected is anything but selfish. In fact, it leads to selflessness. Again, the irony, the beauty of the world as I find it is that you have to go in to come out. And that's beautiful, isn't it?